Okay, we were checking out of the hotel and it was a wonderful stay, great hot water, pressure, everything was great. And comments on the hotel?
No, it was a really fairly priced, actually more than fair. It was nice, quiet. I mean, there's really not much you could ask for aside from like, and honestly, just the only thing is like the pool was out of season, but you got a pool too, a pool and a jacuzzi, and it's like really nice because you can go out there in the pool and check out the mountain like late at night. It's just we were out of season, but it's really cool. Well,
it's even more cool to just step outside of that door and be like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, you're right in the middle of the park. Like you step out, that's the room right there.
This is so beautiful. And they even,
like provide like little things like the chairs, so you can sit out here and like
right over
the
there
skies and stuff. And you're like right in the middle of town, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what you see as soon as you come out.
So cool. Zion Park Hotel.
Thanks.
So we're on our way to Mimi's and a coffee company. Max and I were just talking about this yesterday where we were saying once you find a good restaurant that has a good price and good portions, you really don't want to like stray from that. I feel like whenever I experiment with different restaurants, I'm always like disappointed. But they have all these like cute shops, and then literally we just left Mimi's Cafe.
Yeah, it's right there.
Right there. We're only driving there because we've just checked out, and you can only park there if you're
a guest.
Within the check-in time. Okay, so we were at Mimi's. And we were standing in line to go put our names in. And you know, the waitress, the same waitress that was like, she wasn't our waitress, but she was one of the waitresses there. Last time we came here, she just had a really bad attitude. She was like yelling and screaming in the restaurant. And we're like, okay, but she had a really bad attitude. We're like, okay, maybe we'll just go here. Put our names in, we're standing outside, and we're like, do you know what, maybe we'll go to Duck Creek Cafe. Because, is that what it's called?
Deer Creek.
Sorry, Deer Creek Cafe. And we're like, oh, it sounds like really good. And Max is like, you know what, I just really don't like the attitude at Mimi's. Let's just go to Deer Creek. And I'm like, okay. So I walk over there and it's super confusing. So there's this door over there that says that you have to walk across. And I'm like, okay. And then there's a line over here. Of course, I don't see the line because there's a huge sign that says jewelry. So I'm not thinking that line is for the cafe. So I open up the door because it says Ducks Creek. So I open up the door and
says main entrance.
Okay, the door says main entrance. And
keep in mind the way things are at cafes now.
Here, take your mask off so you can eat.
Well, the way things are at cafes now is they always have a line for people who are just picking up to go.
And then dining in.
And there's dine in. So you're okay, main entrance, that's the way to go, right? Okay, and then so I noticed the line, but I'm like, there's people who go in and they just pick up like a drive-through window. So Kelly's like, oh, is this the way to come in? And she's like, no, the way is where that line out there where all the other people are standing.
And she said it's so nasty. She goes, can I help you? I said, oh, I was just going to the cafe. And they even had a sign when I looked straight forward, it said cafe and then an arrow. I was like, oh, I was just looking to, you know, for the cafe. And she goes, go in line where, you know, everybody else is. And I'm like,
yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? Normally I feel like I would have bitten my tongue and I would have been like, okay. And I would have like just gone in line, but now I'm just like, I'm so appalled. Why do you have to be so freaking mean? How am I supposed to know? You're the one with the extremely confusing, like,
yeah, it's like a jewelry store.
It's a jewelry store.
Like a cafe in the back.
And a cafe. And then, oh yeah, I have to explain that. Okay, so that's the door where it says you have to...
But even the line where everybody's standing, there's no sign of this is where the coffee is.
And then...
This could be anything.
On the left-hand side, it says jewelry. And on the right-hand side, it says cafe. And again, I'm supposed to be knowing this. So we decided that we had coffee at the River Rock Roasting Company. And their signs are clear. And it's very obvious it's not a dine-in cafe.
Mm-hmm.
So we went through the drive-thru and it was
a pleasant experience.
So pleasant, no drama, no problems. And now we're gonna go to McDonald's to eat because that's just a place that we know is not gonna give us any problems, any attitude.
Yeah, and if they do, it's like, well, at least you're only spending like $20 for the entire family. We're
gonna
like
spend like $40-50 just on breakfast.
Yeah, at least, because that place, it's like $16 a plate, plus drinks, plus tips and stuff, and so you're gonna be at a place where clearly they don't want me there, so they're not getting my money either. You don't want me there, my money's not gonna stay here either.
And for those who may think I'm a Karen, I don't require a lot, but the first thing I require for any business is to at least be nice and be professional and not be like giving me attitude and like
but it's one thing to
like move and like all these.
It's one thing to defend yourself if the client is being an ass, because I completely understand that part of it. You have to allow the staff to defend themselves if somebody's really being rude to them in the first place. But in this case, you're just asking, where do I go? Because look, ultimately what we were asking is, where can we sit so we can give you guys our money? And
we thought it was like you stand outside and you order, or you come in and sit down.
Right.
Like a lot of places, they'll have like an outside window where it's like a drive-through. You walk in, order, or you go inside, sit, and order.
Yeah.
But that wasn't clear that they didn't have that. It was just...
But it would have been as simple as just, we're not doing dine-in right now because of COVID. Because we don't even know if that's why they were only doing the window today or whatever they were doing.
Just like, oh, I'm so sorry, but this is the line.
Or you could just say, oh, you could, it's the line is right outside, so you just go out there and then we'll get to you as soon as we can. That's it.
It just...
oh, okay, cool. But, to roll, that whole thing of like looking exasperated and rolling your eyes.
Yeah, like you can stand outside, where everyone else is, or the waitress with galley, like move, and I like, what did she say? Move and excuse me, and then like,
and then she did one of these. She's like, oh, like, are you kidding me?
We were in line to be put our names on the hostess stand. Like we were in line to give our names to the hostess.
But the equivalent would be if, like at In-N-Out, there's always the line, and usually their restrooms are like, and the back room is like, you have to go through that line to go back there. And I've never been to an In-N-Out where any of them ever go, oh, move out of my way. They either go around you, or they say, excuse me, whatever it is. And those guys, they don't get tips. They don't get treated like, they're working their asses off all day. Because they even put a glass there so you can see how hard they work. And they never give you attitude. But here, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you have to go through the line of people who want to be sat down. How are we supposed to know that you're going to come through here? There is actually another door that comes out of the kitchen area that you see some of the waiters use, but you're using this one, and I'm just supposed to know that I gotta jump out of your way. I'm
just tired of people being nasty. Like, why do you have to be nasty? Do you get paid extra by being nasty and rude?
No.
Because
all it is, they hate. Look, they woke up today hating their lives, hating their jobs, and you know what? A lot of us hate our jobs. This is my vacation. But most of the time I'm working. I'm also miserable. Like it's not like I'm here because to treat you any sort of way. But it's like, look, if you don't like the place you work, you can always make it. It's not slavery. You can walk away whenever you want. I'm not happy here. I'm leaving. Fine. But if you don't want to do that, then you better come to work prepared to have a smile on your face. When I go to work, I'm not there with an attitude. I'm there with a smile. Even though inside I might be dying. I work 40 hours a week and I talk to people all day. I've never, ever given anyone attitude. I've never done that. I've always been like, hi, how are you? And very much like, even when I didn't feel like it. So I don't want to hear maybe that person was having a bad day. And I know Max always says, because I give a lot. Exactly what I know. I give a lot of people slack, and so there are times when Max and I clash because I'm just like, oh, they're probably just having a bad day, and it's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse because we all have bad days.
What if a cop's having a bad day? Or a firefighter? What, he's not going to put your ass out anymore because he's having a bad day? No way. I just want to focus on this. This says Merry Christmas in Hurricane. I thought that was so cute. Yeah, that is pretty. So yeah, I just wanted to check back in on what we decided to do because people
God forbid people are respectful and nice, and the world is hard enough as it is, and rude, and especially with the year 2020, it has sucked for everyone here. And the last thing that, like, the only thing that we wanted to do was just to go to Zion to make it feel a little bit less, or a little bit more better, even by like a pinch, and we're treated like that. It makes me have like zero hope for the years to come.
Well, then also this brings the question up of like, this is exactly why when small business owners come crying about how they're losing business and how things are going rough and all this stuff, this is exactly why people go to corporations, because there is more of an emphasis on, we don't want to upset our shareholders, we don't want to have any bad press or anything like that, so they push the customer service angle so much more. You go to these small restaurants, for some reason
they don't care.
They don't give a shit. Like, they treat you like you're bothering them. I'm like, I'm sorry, wasn't it just a few months ago you were begging for like people to support small businesses because you guys were all going broke? Yeah. What happened? Like,
this is us going into McDonald's instead of going to Deep Creek Cafe. Yeah. We got the name wrong earlier. We're going into McDonald's. There was another thing that you said that reminded me of something. Oh yeah, about the corporations. And like, it doesn't take that. I went to New York City a few different times, and we went to several restaurants, and a lot of the places had horrible customer service. And the ones that had horrible customer service, the people that were there, they were like mom and pop stores, and it wasn't until I went to an actual corporate restaurant I was treated with somewhat professionalism and respect, which is sad. Say, Max?
We just paid $18.38 for like a feast of food at this place. That's like one thing at one of those other places. So we're getting, look, let me pay real quick and I'll tell people how fat we are.
We just got our McDonald's.
Yes, we did. Take
that, Deep Creek.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We ended up getting a Big Mac, 10 nuggets, 2 fries, a chicken sandwich, 3 sodas, and all that just for $18. And I'm not here to tell you like this is better quality food than what we would have gotten at anywhere else. I understand that it's still McDonald's quality food.
The fries, yours or mine?
They're mine in
Galleys.
Yeah, but you can grab some if you want. Anyway, point is, you get to eat all this for $20, and not really $18. But I'm sitting here thinking like, all right, we're gonna spend 3 times this minimum at that other place, and these guys did it within 2 minutes. They were super nice. And
didn't tell us to get in another line. No, but don't you see the line?
Yeah, and she was like super chipper on the drive-through thing, and I'm like, you know what? These McDonald's guys, like, nobody tips them. Nobody says, you know, thank you or anything. They just kind of do their job, and I'm like, this is why I get upset when it's like, oh, we don't want to pay them more than. But it's like, this job is also really hard just mentally. You know, and you don't get any like perks of like, oh, you might have somebody come in who pays you a $50 tip or something ever. They don't have any chance of that ever happening. So I just think like when these other places, they have these workers there and they get snippy with you, it's like, it's not my fault that maybe you had another customer you didn't like, or someone was rude to you, or maybe you don't like the job or whatever it is. But if I'm gonna spend $60 here, like, I want a minimum level of like, because the whole experience is ruined. It doesn't matter how good your food is.
Yeah.
If you get treated like shit, it doesn't matter. You might as well feed me this here, and I'm happier. I actually feel more satisfied eating this.
That's why I was so torn about Mimi's, because last time we went, we had a great experience there in regards to our waitress, our food, our service.
Yeah, and she strangely wasn't there today, so I don't know. Maybe she was too nice for the place. She had to leave. So
that server that we just decided to leave because of her, she wasn't our server last time, but we were just like, do we even want to be in this atmosphere? No. And you said the host was rude to you.
Well, yeah, because the host was like this dude in a cowboy hat, and I don't know, like he wasn't as rude as everyone else, but like I go in and he doesn't look up to look at me, and he just kind of goes, like, he's writing, and he goes, yes, and I go, yeah, party of 3, and then he just goes, okay. all right, well, can I do inside dining, because it's a little chilly out, and you know the food gets cold too quickly. And he's like, you know that's gonna be 10 to 15 minutes, right? Well, yeah, that's fine. He's like, name, Max, okay, and he's like, you need to wait outside. Whatever, but
then why don't you have like what you said? Why don't you have a host stand outside?
Yeah, just have the host stand outside.
You take everyone's names.
And if it's too cold, like, yeah, get a heater.
But now it's like, get out now, like, okay.
Yeah, all right.
And it wasn't overflowing.
No, they didn't have anyone there. They had maybe like 5 tables out of the entire restaurant. Could probably hold maybe like 20 tables. They had 5 tables busy, and it was just like, all right, you know, you guys, if you're overwhelmed by this, I hate to tell you, but this isn't like horrible in terms of being busy. And they all have like this attitude, and again,
it puts a damper on our vacation, because this is our day off.
Well, that was
we
supposed to
spent
be
money.
Well, that was supposed to be the exclamation point. Like, we got the hotel. Otherwise, we would have just driven back last night. But what we wanted to do really was like go have breakfast and walk around a little bit. But then it just gets to the point where like you're not welcome anywhere really in that little town. Like it's almost like this overall attitude of like they don't like outsiders. But it's like, you know, without outsiders, you don't make money. Like the whole point. I'm sorry, you put your business next to a national park. Who do you think's coming? Like, you know, because the people who live there don't have money. I mean, this area is not very, you know, wealthy, and that's not like a knock on them, but it's like, it's a small area, and it's a
small town.
It's not very developed, and so those people are not going to go to a restaurant to overspend on breakfast. They're going to eat at home, and then they're like, that's the kind of people who live around here, is they're just going to eat at home and maybe go hike on their own.
And we like to eat to get the experience. We want to feel like we're like traveling like a local. We'd like to go to the local diners. We'd like to go to the local coffee shops. So to be treated like that, it just really put like a sour taste. Like, I mean, right now we're gonna like binge on like McDonald's, but it still does put a sour taste of like,
yeah. Well, it's kind of sad that like they turn you away, because I like supporting small businesses. One of the reasons why I like San Francisco and New York and, you know, like Mexico City and all this, because you have a lot of places that are very, you know, that's unique to the owner. The owner gives the place the flavor kind of thing. But it really does make you go like, man, you're wasting my time. It's unreliable, because at least if I go to a place I already know, the name brand, like I already know what you have, I already know what I'm in for, and for the most part, you get a good experience. Like I think in most chain restaurants, you probably do all right. And I just think like, man, you know, you guys, later you're crying about how the business went under, but word of mouth is very important when it comes to a small business. And if enough people go like, hey, look, you're not gonna have a good time here, and then you might give it a chance, but then because with us, we should have looked at the reviews for that Deep Creek Cafe, because there's a lady on there also saying, you know, the staff
just 4 days ago
is very snippy and all this stuff. And then, you know, if we would have looked at that, we would have been like, huh, that's interesting. But, you know, we would have probably said maybe she's over exaggerating, but then now we go and we confirm her belief or like her experience. So now we're also spreading the word, hey, you come here, you're gonna get a very snippy staff and all that. And honestly, especially in the morning when you're just trying to get a coffee, you're trying to like get your day going, that's the last thing you need. I wasn't in a bad, I actually woke up in a great mood.
We all were like ready to conquer the day.
Yeah, I was really happy this morning. And so you go and you're like, you're looking forward to breakfast, you're looking forward to have a good day. But these guys, and you know, I understand having a bad day, but everybody has a bad day. And I'm sorry, you're not living in, you know, the Congo or something where like it's horrible. You're living in Zion, working in Zion. Most people are very nice to you. You're probably making decent money on.
Everyone who worked at the park was always very, very, very nice to us.
And that's what I wanted to say.
Shuttle workers, information workers.
Yeah, and those guys go above and beyond on everything. Like the bus driver was sitting there like dropping historical knowledge about like the park when it opened. I guess he'd been there since forever, and so he's sitting there like enjoying his day. You have
the 3 mountain peaks. They said that it was named after Abraham, Isaac, and
John, or I don't know.
Someone.
One of those guys. And so, the apostles. One of those guys.
We know
the homies. Jesus homies. But no, he also, like, he knew the names of all the peaks. Like, there's the altar of sacrifice and all this stuff. Like, and even other hikers were cool. The people trying to, like, get everybody on the shuttles and making sure everybody knows kind of what's going on. They keep you updated.
The only people in the park who were a-holes were the people, like, I'm trying to find a better term for, like, riding on my ass, but that's what they did the entire trip.
Oh,
they
yeah.
just rid our asses.
That's for another day, but yeah, like, in terms of people who worked there, I think everybody was incredible. But yeah, that town right outside of it, I think one of the things that happens there is, like, these people are just trying to make all this money off of people not having really an option of going anywhere else to eat. So what happens is they know you don't have a choice. So it's like, oh, you want breakfast? Where else are you gonna go?
That's why we ate dinner in Laverkin, because I didn't want any, like, there was a brew place, like a brew pub outside of Zion, and it looked really decently priced, but I was worried about the portions. I didn't want to pay $25-30 for a small portion. It's not worth it.
Right, and I don't know, I just think, like, there's an overall attitude that's got to get fixed, because I'm sorry, life is not that stressful there. Like, it's not that stressful. It's very
beautiful.
It's a very slow, nice town. You live in a place where most people would love to be there, and you know, your job is really, like, I understand that waiting tables is not like a glamorous job. It sucks.
My job's not glamorous.
But there's a lot of jobs like that. Like, I'm sorry, there's so many jobs that are not glamorous. Like, even what I do, like, sometimes my boss will just be like, look, I need this done. I need it done by here. You know, like, I need it in 2 hours, whatever. It's stressful. You get that jolt of stress going, and you can't really, like, if a client were to call, I'm not gonna take it out on them and be like, oh yeah, sure.
Could you imagine?
No,
don't you know?
No,
this?
because you live and die by your clients now. Like, you live and die, and I think that's how it's always been. But I think
people forget that
you live and die by, like, people trusting you. And there's actually this thing where, like I work at a law firm, like, and one of the things that one of the attorneys was saying to me was, look, one of the biggest bar complaints, actually most bar complaints, come because of one thing, and that's that you don't communicate enough with your clients. It's not that you did a bad job. It's not that you lost the case. It's not that you charged them too much. It's that you didn't communicate with them. People they want to have that experience of, like, at least I got the human side of it. I got treated like a human. I got treated like I was worth something, even if we lose, even if whatever happens. And I'm like, wow, that's really incredible, because I would have thought that it'd be something else. I would have thought that it's like overcharging or something, but no, that's the bar complaints. And I think with restaurants, more people are likely to give a bad review because they had a bad waiting experience than it was the food.
Yeah.
Because I think people are like, all right, well, fine, you know, the food wasn't that great, but what can you do?
I can't get over that.
Yeah,
I can't get over someone being disrespectful just because you can.
Right.
But this concludes our Zion vlog. Thank you for watching, and moral of the story is go to McDonald's.
Yeah. Mickey D's.
And Stagecoach in Laverkin. They're really good too.
Yeah, they
and the River Rock Roasting Company, which is a cafe.
I will say this about the Stagecoach place. It's the first time ever, and that hostess, it's like she was in my head, because I was eyeing a table in the corner. I'm like, it was indoors, because the indoor part is actually, like, the temperature is nice.
Oh, you're talking about the Stagecoach.
Yeah,
cafe.
Stagecoach. So she's the Stagecoach Diner, the steakhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not cafe. It's the steakhouse. So anyway, yeah, I was looking at the table, and I'm like, oh, please give me that table. Please give me that table, because it's, like, so nice in the corner, but it's still in the indoor portion of it, so you're nice and warm. Food stays warm. And I'm like, please give me that. And she didn't even, like, ask or anything. She walked us right to it. And I'm like, right on. It's the first time this has ever happened to me where they gave me the perfect
Gallie's
table.
getting excited for you back there. She's like,
it was amazing. Usually I have to beg for them to not give me the table by the restrooms where I could smell people's farts. Like, it's just... That is true. Like, they always try to sit you by the restrooms for some reason. They're like, yeah, you're ugly. You should smell shit. Like, it's just... That is what they always try to do when the place is not, like, you know, popping. And
props to her. I don't know what her name is. She looks like a little high school girl. She's got a future.
Okay.
All right. End this.